Hi, everyone. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Hi, everybody. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒕. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, come on in. Say hello, say hello. Come on in, say hello. I can do that actually. Just thinking of something. Hi, everyone. Does anybody else do y'all talk to yourselves sometimes? Like you're thinking of something and then you start to talk in your head, and then somehow you're vocalizing it out, right? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Hello, Miss Illinois Sanctuary. How my baby's doing? I think your favorite color is black. I wear black a lot. I wear black in my professional life. I wear black a lot. So, but if I'm making no, yeah, I think I've always worn black because of my kind of job. It's when you come to court with us, everyone is in black. If anything, actually, I think I'm the only attorney, female attorney, that dares to wear color from time to time. Like the other day, the other day I showed up in court in a red jumpsuit. Everybody else is in black or brown or navy blue. Every man wears navy blue or black, and every female attorney is in black, for the most part in black. And then you see this salt and pepper head girl in red jumpsuit. And hey, it is what it is. And so you're standing like, what? So yeah, I do that once in a while. But yeah, I'm usually in black. Thank you. It's a professional necessity. In my profession, you're always in some that kind of dark color. But sometimes I wear a red dress. But everybody's always staying out. I'm a Nigerian today. So it's like, you know. They doesn't know that. It's not like that South African lawyer. Because it's like, she. Oh, does a day what this black dress is one of my favorite. It's a black dress, but it's got gold buttons all over it. So it's like I call it my Michael Jackson dress. And that day was like even the married guys in court, the lawyers, like, wow, there's one that says, Abby, wow, and you've got 2 kids. Yeah, keep looking at your wife. Anyway, hi everyone. This is Attorney Episode. Immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that we handle, we can and do represent. Yeah, how do you tell? Like, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away at all. That's the reason I'm single. we can represent you in any state that you live in, as long as it's an immigration case. Today, for whatever reason, we had quite a number of people call the office for divorce. Now, I think it may be because of the video that I did as far as divorce cases, but we do not represent the clients in divorce cases if you're not a resident of. Oh, thank you. Don't let Kyla see she's going to not tell me she needs to raise. I ain't raising nobody's salary. I'm a Jabu girl, so I ain't raising nobody's. Miss Savannah, don't start anything now. But today, for whatever reason, I think my assistant was telling me we had like 4 or 5 people ask about family law cases consultation. We don't represent clients in family law cases unless you are residents. Your residence in Alabama, meaning you are living in Alabama. Family law is divorce is family law. Family law is state specific, so you've got to be in my state for me to represent you in a divorce case. If you're not in my state, then you're going to have to consult with a lawyer in your own state of residency when it comes to family law cases. Other than that, immigration wise, we can represent you. We would be glad to represent you in an immigration case. If you need us, if you need to contact us, our number is 334-341-4475. Our website is olalayalawfirm.com. We would be happy and honored and privileged and blessed to represent you guys. So please share this video. You just never know who is going to benefit from it. I'm telling you, just from that customary divorce video, I think between, was it yesterday or today? Was it yesterday or Sunday? I can't remember. Last week. Anyway, long story short, we've had, I think, 4 people so far. We've been able to draft affidavits on their behalf because, why do we complicate things? Thank you, Mr. in the Sanctuary. And so if we can help you, I always say, even if you do not have a lawyer on your case, the very least you can do to help yourself in your immigration case is at least consult with an attorney, just to be on the safe side, just to even have your questions answered. And if you decide to go on your own and represent yourself, all well and good, but at least you have a legal mind that has given you some insight into what it is you're about to do. There are a lot of street lawyers. There are a lot of street lawyers that will tell you one thing or the other. So please do yourself a favor. Don't try to save money up front and then end up spending a whole lot more than you would have spent initially when you now have to deal with getting a lawyer. It's just always in your best interest. So once again, the website is olalayalawfirm.com, 334-341-4475. Yes, please join the live sessions on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Learn about immigration, all things immigration. We talk about immigration. We also talk about, what God has done in our lives. This is also I'm not imposing my faith on anybody. I am a Christian. I'm a woman of faith. I also cuss. So good. No judging. But that is who I am. It is part of who I am. That's how I start my life. That's how I live my life. There is nothing I can achieve without the grace of God. And so we come together, and whatever way faith can help you, be a Christian, be a Muslim, we pray to the same God. Just know that it's a positive space where we come together and we just encourage and celebrate one another. There's someone who, I don't know if you guys remember, I think 2 weeks ago, I was talking to him on live, talking about, making sure he gets a FOIA request done because USCIS had made some allegations against him, yada, yada, yada. And he was waiting to get his citizenship application approved. He sent me an email. Today's Tuesday, either Sunday or yesterday, one of those 2 days, that they finally called him. He went to sign his oath of stuff at the USCIS office, and he's going to be sworn in. Those are the things that we come together each Tuesday and Thursday night to share with one another. Even because he was worried sick. He's been on this journey, fought a bad case, fought a 751 for years. And so finally, he is finally getting his great ending. His story is ending in praise. And that's what we'd love to share here. And also, yes, I remember him, right? And just to know that, and the funny thing is, I'm not the lawyer on his case. I've been so involved in his case, you would think I'm his lawyer. I'm not his lawyer. When he consulted with me, you remember him, when he consulted with me, I know his lawyer. And so because I know it's one thing to know of a lawyer, but I know his lawyer and I know what he can do, the lawyer. And so when he consulted with me, I'm not one who's going to tell you, hey, yeah, come over to my firm. And then I'm not going to waste your time. I told him, I said, I know your lawyer, and there's nothing your lawyer has done that I would do differently. And then we had another consultation. I said, yes, you have to run this by, the lawyer's name, because I know that if this is what he's telling you, then that's what it is. So, and, we've got emails that way. He will send me emails like, that's all I would do. There is no point for you to switch over to my firm because there's absolutely nothing else I would do for you. And so I think for him, being able to appreciate that, and that's one of the things he said, like, but we've been on this journey together. Like, yeah, because there's no point deceiving you, but knowing that you're, things that when lawyers do what they're supposed to do, I'm going to tell you there's nothing else I'm going to do, because that's the whole point. The whole point is to get you on the right track, right? And just so that's what the space is about. Coming together and just sharing and encouraging one another and rejoicing one another and knowing that your own time is going to come. Your own time is going to come. If you keep that mindset of, I'm happy for you, and I use your story as a testimony to mine, it's going to happen for me. That's just the way my brain works. So Thank you. It is. It's really really. And so I hope he would. I don't know if he was going to come in. If he comes on, that would be great. I know someone has sent me a request. That's not him, but that would be great because just knowing, when when I saw the email, you would have thought it was one of my clients. The way I screamed, like, "What?" That's just me. Because it's like, it's a great feeling when your immigration journey is finally over. I'm telling you, there is no day that I leave this country, especially when I travel outside the country. It is always a reminder of God's goodness. I hold that blue passport, and it's going to be 10 years since I've been a citizen this year. But I hold it every single time, and I am a travel junkie. Like, I would travel the world. If I tell my kids, y'all don't judge, and TJ and SJ, and tell them, hey, right, TJ, like once, like I would support them, raise your face, and put them on the right path. But they need to hurry up because I ain't gonna sit down around and be nobody's. Y'all can judge all you want. I am doing babysitting nobody's kid for them. That's it. I am going to be grandma from afar because I am traveling the world. Y'all don't like it? Too bad. Yes, I was telling right. That's just it. Because I said my kids, I'm going to my island. But I love to travel. That's just I love to travel. So every single time I take that passport, it is a reminder of God's greatness because I've been there. I know what it feels like to just not even to almost give up. Like, what? What's the point? Okay, I keep my kids. I said, let's just go back home. That's what brought me to good old down south, small town USA. Because my ex-husband is a physician. We had to come to rural health in all the name of papers, right? So will be grandma will reach anti-vibes. Exactly. That's how it is. Mobile, exactly. I ain't mobile. No. My mom is always like, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. Sorry. That's it. I'm not doing it. But anyway, so we rejoice with one another. We celebrate one another. This is the space for that. There's a whole lot of negativity out there. That's fine. But here, and just so, and I try the best I can to give as much accurate information as possible. But the one thing I will not stand for is when someone makes a comment that's going to be misleading to people, and then they say it authoritatively, and they have no clue what they're talking about, and they're not in the legal profession. I will not tell my OBGYN. If my OBGYN tells me, hey, Abby, because that's what everyone calls me, this is what we're going to do. I ain't going to tell him, no, I know that's not how it is because I saw it on Google that no. So I say that to say this, just so we're going to talk about immigration updates real quick. But before I forget, there was a post that Kyla put up on our page about customary marriages and how you get that, dissolved, right? Someone made a comment that said that that's not, and I left the comment. If you go on that video, you will see the comment there. I left it there because sometimes you want to leave it there so that people can also learn. Those who think they know a whole lot about nothing, they can learn. Someone put a comment and said that that is not exactly correct. You can get a divorce in any court in the United States. Please hear me loud and clear. A lot of people have found themselves in problems with immigration because they've listened to somebody that has no business with giving them advice about immigration cases. I will not tell my ex-husband how to treat his patient because I have no clue how to become a doctor. I have zero clue. Google, I can research everything on Google, but it's not going to be like someone who went to med school and he's still doing it every single day. The same applies for someone who has no business telling you about something that's incorrect. So they say get a divorce from any court in the United States. You cannot, hear me loud and clear, you cannot get a divorce decree from a U.S. court to nullify or to dissolve a customary marriage. It's not like people are not doing it, but what they're doing is they're not being truthful about the kind of marriage they had. So this person made a comment saying, and I put that on like, U.S. courts have no jurisdiction over a customer. And I said, do the research. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. I would not argue with you in your field. Don't argue with me in my field, especially when I know what the heck I'm talking about. If you've got a customary marriage, you cannot dissolve that in a civil court.
Not in Nigeria, not here. Do people do it? Yes, they do. This is the problem you're going to run into. If you've gotten a marriage, because it's a lot easier. They'll say you're here, get the divorce done here. No one's going to ask you for a marriage certificate, which is true. The court is not going to ask you to provide because there's no customer marriage certificate to provide. The court is not going to ask you to do that, right? And then you go ahead and get a statutory divorce decree because it's a lot easier, and the ex-spouse is here. The ex-spouse is also here in the US and all that good. Here's the problem people may have. If you go on for your USCIS marriage interview, listen, there's some things I don't know. Can you imagine this argument? I don't even respond. There's some that I respond to myself, especially when it's a legal argument, because I don't want people have been misled enough. When someone now comes and you say things you have no clue about, that's where I draw the line. So where you're going to have an issue is you go on your interview and they ask you where's your divorce decree, you provide that, right? I've had people being asked by USCIS adjudicating officers that, what kind of marriage did you have? What kind of marriage did you have? And if you tell them that you were married in, your traditional way and all that, unless you're going to lie that you were married in the registry. And what if they ask you, okay, let's see a copy of that marriage certificate? Because if you're married in the registry, you must have a marriage certificate. If you were married in a customary way, you do not have any documentation. And the way you dissolve a customary marriage is not in a statutory manner, meaning you don't go to a high court in Nigeria, neither do you come to a court in the United States that has jurisdiction to dissolve statutory marriages. Please hear me loud and clear about that. So if someone is telling you something that is not making sense, sit down with a lawyer or ask them where they got their law degree from. So do people do it? Absolutely they do. And do people get away with it without being asked? Yes. But what if you're that one sole person that a USCIS officer decides to ask you what kind of marriage you have? And they're looking at the reciprocity schedule that says that you can only dissolve a customary marriage. There's no legal documentation, return of dowry, or if you have a customary court where you are, which I usually don't recommend, but then someone tells you to go to a U.S. court and dissolve a customary marriage, please understand that is illegal. That's not something, and that complicates things. Thank you. All right. Let's talk immigration. Talking about immigration updates tonight. What's been going on in the immigration world? Real quick. Immigration updates. Let's talk about that. First things first, if you have renewed your EAD, I believe effective date was April 8. Don't quote me on that. April 8 or April 10, one of the two. USCIS is now reverting back to a 540 days extension. They started a 540 days extension, then they stopped it last year, October. But now they've gone back to it. So if you file your renewal effective date either 8th or 10th, then your receipt notice will start showing again 540 days 540 days extension. So that is still going to be a year and a half kind of extension notice, which is great. So that's number one. Number two, USCIS released today also that VAWA cases, and this is, I said this so many times, like I'm not really sure the reasoning behind filing VAWA petitions at the Nebraska Service Center, and then they transfer it to the Vermont Service Center, and then they send you transfer notices. It was just a whole lot of mess. Like why we wasting a whole lot of money? Anyway, that stops. They released a policy today that you still will continue to file your VAWA petitions at the Nebraska Service Center. Great. However, it stays the Nebraska Service Center. There isn't going to be any more transfers to the Vermont Service Center. VAWA adjudicating officers are still going to be processing those cases, but no more transfer to the Vermont Service Center. No more transfer notices to be issued to you. They're streamlining the intake process, so that makes a lot of sense. They should have done that from day one. Not really sure what was going on, but that's what they've done now. Okay, so that's that. Number three. A lot of applications since April 1st are being rejected because a lot of people are sending in incorrect filing fees. The easiest way for you to get what your accurate filing, because USCIS has now changed their fee calculator, where if you put in the form name, it's going to not give you subcategories depending on what category or subcategory now applies to you. So it's kind of like confusing. I understand, but it's because I'm used to that. I know exactly what I'm looking for. But get used to the USCI's fee calculator. That would help you to know the exact and the correct fees to send in with your petition and or application, so that you avoid rejection of your case. So that's that. And then effective November 2023, if you submit your medical examination I-693 and it's on the updated version of the I-693 form, it no longer expires. So your medical examination effective November 2023 no longer is going to expire. It's going to be valid indefinitely. So it doesn't matter. So what I'm telling my, especially my VAL clients, because for the most part, given the fact that VAL can take up to 3 years, I haven't just bothered. It's like, let's just wait for the VAL case to get approved. And then we'll now wait for them to send us an RFE. So now what we're doing, if we can, is once we file the VAL, one-step VAL case, we're sending a medical examination reports, because now we know it's not going to expire. It's going to be valid indefinitely. And that saves you time, so that once you have your VAL approved, I-45 is pending. They're not sending an RFE for the medical examination at that point. So that's great. Also, almost all the forms, save for maybe 2 or 3, are going to be, actually all those forms have been updated, and effective June 3rd, 2024, whatever older versions of forms that you may currently be using are not going to be acceptable. So be aware that June 3rd, 2024, USCIS has updated all but maybe 2 or 3 of their forms, and they would have the April 1st, 2024 edition date. June 3rd, 2024 and beyond, if you use an older form version, your case is going to be denied. So the best practice right now, which is what we're doing in my firm, is just go ahead and start using the new updated version of the forms. That is going to prevent, you still can use it, as long as, if you decide to use it, just make sure you put in a note that says that this is still an acceptable version up until June 2nd. But if you can, just start using the updated versions, so that you're going to reduce your risk, reduce the chances of them rejecting your case. Because you got to understand that people working there, they're USCIS officers. So some of them may not take the time to look at the fact that this form is still valid up until June 2nd. So if you can avoid that, that's just going to be in your own best interest. And that's all, sure, people. Straight to the point. Immigration updates. That's about it. And that's all she wrote. Okay, let's see how many questions we can take tonight. And let's see. Hello, Miss Francisca. How are you? Hello, Miss Tina. What happens if one is abroad on approved advanced parole, and while abroad, I-45 got denied? Just asking out of curiosity. Hopefully that's what's going on with you. But there's a case law on that. Basically, in a nutshell, even if he gets denied, hopefully not, but even if he does, you are still able to come back into the country. What may happen is they may have to refer you and place you into deportation proceedings, but because you traveled on an approved advanced parole, and as long as that advanced parole is still valid at the time you return to the country, then CBP is required to allow you back in, and they may just refer you to immigration court. Okay. And Sabrina says, good evening. Thanks for joining. Kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Appreciate that. Share. Yes, on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Olale Immigration. Subscribe, like, share, follow. Thanks in advance. Hello, Miss Pinky. How are you? Hello, Miss Giwa. How's it going? Happy Tuesday to you as well. Okay. Let's see. Alrighty. Hello. Yes, we do prepare. Oh, talking of preparing affidavits, Miss Aza, if you're watching, I have not forgotten. Lord Jesus, it's been a crazy week already. I had court today. I had it's yeah. The funny thing is, I actually love the the craziness in Scott, and that's why I mean, I'm just used to it. And then I've got two kids, and my oldest kid is home. My firstborn child is home. My child is home. Like y'all, that's yeah. My child is home, so my heart is full at this point. Yeah, I'm just gonna write that. It's easy. Yes, we do help with drafting affidavits for customary marriages, divorce, dissolution, I should say. Sitting down to thank you. What can be done when you file a vow with less than two photos as proof of marriage? Make sure you've got, well, hopefully you added quite a bit of details to your affidavit. The thing with VAR, really, because you don't get to have an interview. Alone, no buying shit. I'm telling you, because I've seen cases like there's a case today that was an appeal case, and the what's it called? My client's case was already denied, and based on lack of good faith and shared residency. And then we filed an appeal. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way we're hoping, in spite of all the evidence. And looking at the evidence this guy had with the niche of our case, and then what was submitted an appeal, and I'm like, okay. I mean, for whatever reason, but they held on to something. They held on to, and this is where I want you guys to take away from this. Sometimes, even when you've got a whole lot of evidence, if USCIS sees something that is a discrepancy, that is now contradictory to something, say you miss a date or the date doesn't add up or something, it doesn't matter how much other evidence you have. They will hold on to that until Jesus comes back. Because I've seen cases that have few photos or affidavits and get approved, and I've seen cases that have like 200 million, good faith evidence, and it's like, what's going? What can we possibly do? So 2 photographs, I wouldn't say that's sufficient. But if you can explain why you don't have more than what you have, and you can get witness affidavits that can help you, be more detailed, and if they visited your home, if they have, they've met your spouse, you guys have hung out together, what your home looks like, so they can describe that. You can describe what your home looks like, what you guys do on the weekend, what you do on a daily basis, what's your weekly routine, what's your nightly routine, what you guys do on, what did you do last Christmas. Those are things that, everyday life kind of thing. If you're putting that in your affidavit, that can help to explain and also substitute for the lack of additional photos, insurance claim, and all that. That's just something you can use. Name updated in 360. What does that mean? It just means that they've touched your case about something. It could be anything. It could be we're about to send you an approval. It could be we're about to send you an RFE. It could be we're about to, transfer your case. It could be anything. And it could be that maybe, for instance, whenever I make an expedited request on behalf of clients with dependent VA case, the very first notification sometimes we get is we updated your name. And I know that I'm about to get an email from the Vermont Service Center. So it could be anything. Royalty footsteps. Good evening. Okay, so what's your question on that? I-130 was approved a year ago. Married to green card holder. I sent a few RFE. Or you sent an RFE for I-45 under 245I. So what's your question?
Oh, thank you for the honest advice, opinion given to us today. This is a beautiful. I know who you are. That's what I'm talking about. I think that's another person that I told her, like, listen, this is not the stage where you want to change your attorney. Listen, attorneys make money by time. That's how we get paid. So, it's not, but for me, it's not about, looking, pay me so I can sit down and do nothing or do the same thing, no, to make you start all over again just because. No, I'm going to tell you, hey, it's not it's not going to be worth your while, because you're going to, if anything, this is what I'm going to have to do to take away kids, which is not going to be your interest. So I'll tell you that upfront. There's nothing wrong in being able to tell you that. It just, there's a blessing in being honest with you. So I appreciate that. That means a lot, Mr. Abiodun. And, all the best. Like we talked about really in detail. So I'm sure you understand anyway. So just keep me posted and let me know how things go. And all the best with everything that's coming up with you. What can be. Okay, that's right. And please do not put your questions more than once. If you put your questions more than once, I'm going to skip that question completely. I passed the US test, but right after I got a felony and it's pending, what happens? You may probably not be sworn in because you got to let them know. And they will check your record. If you don't tell them and you want to, they will check your record because you're supposed to maintain. Nothing has to, if anything changes between the time you were recommended for approval and oath ceremony, you are supposed to let them know. Can I divorce here in the US? Yes, generally, yes. The question is what kind of divorce. So if you had like a registered marriage back in your home country and your other spouse is here, you guys agree, that's fine. Even if the other spouse is not here, if they agree to sign a waiver of service, meaning that because the US court would not have jurisdiction over them, but if they agree to sign a waiver, then you can always send them documents to wherever they're in the home country. They'll sign it, send it back to you. In Alabama, for instance, if the person agrees, our courts do not require original documents. So all I've always used for, like, I've got quite a number of specific Nigerians you'll be surprised how many Nigerians live in Alabama. And they contact me. And so what we do is just, get in touch with them. The person signs, they send everything to my office. I file online. We wait 30 days, and so you're divorced. If your marriage was not a registered marriage, though, then you're talking of, getting a customary letter from the customary court, which I usually don't recommend. I usually just say affidavits and then, support that affidavit with the reciprocity schedule, which specifically says legal documentation is not required. And so if the legal documentation is not required, basically what you need to document that is being able to put something in black and white, say this is what happened and this is how the marriage was dissolved. Okay, let's see. My office is located in Alabama, but I represent immigration clients in all states. TJ. T. What can happen? Okay, that's the same question. I got a notice to look for a joint sponsor, and I did immediately. Hope all is fine. Okay, so what's your question? I was supposed to have my master hearing in January, but it was postponed until next year, March. Please, what can be done about what? What can be done about what? What if you have never been married with your ex? Okay. How are they your ex if you've never been married? Like ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance? Vomp 22, 21. Vomp 21. Help me understand. What do you mean you've never been married? Well, it's one thing for you to never be married with your ex. The question I have for you is, when you came to the US and you applied for a visitor visa, what did you tell them? Jenny, to are married. Is that what is on your visitor visa application? Because if that's what you said, then you've got to explain why that was what you said. I knew you were going to go. I'm just asking, like, because Is it possible to get extension and still denied approved? Um, are you referring to like a 751? You get an extension and then get a denial? Is that what you're referring to? All right, Miss Obiano. I wish we could have seen each other though. I don't know, anyway. If the divorce is not accepted with multiple denials, should we get a new divorce in the US? That's exactly what I'm talking about. In your case, I'm not going to say your full name, just the Olainka. In your case, you probably were not even married in the registry. So that a lot of people were saying that's because if it's if you cut out your engagement, that's what customer marriage is, right? That's basically because you pay, we Bible off when issue and all that good stuff, and then okay, Bible tag we multiple and the church okay cool no maka Bible all the area where at Jesuit. So what is different? That's it, right? So if that's what happened in your case, and then they sent you decree and decree absolute from high court, most of the time because it's not really from the court, probably gonna have an issue. And so Olanga, I would say if you don't have a lawyer in your case, I hope you do. If you don't, sit down with a lawyer, give them the documents you have. If you were married in court, in a registry or in a church back home, then you can get a new divorce in the US. Keeping in mind, though, that USCIS may now make an allegation later on that you submitted fraudulent documents, you cross that bridge when you get there. But do yourself a favor and sit down with the lawyer to evaluate your past case and see what needs to be done moving forward. How much should my sponsor be making if me and my husband are not working for green card? If you go on the USCIS.gov website, it would tell you how much your sponsor should make based on the household, the number of the people in the sponsor's household, and in addition to you, the intended immigrant. That would determine how much you should make. Jensen, oh my God, your hair is amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yo, this hair. Let me digress real quick. My kid, I don't know if it's here. My kid was a living witness with this. Minding my own darn business, my own salt and pepper hair business, having lunch with my child, right? Hello, Miss Peggy, minding our own darn business. This, and it's amazing. I get the most compliments about my hair comes from Caucasian men. Look at my handsome son. Okay, I'm not going to show you. Just come start. No, come right here. I don't need you to come because that's my oldest kid. He doesn't. But right, I was going to tell the story of last week. That guy that left his wife and came to tell me. What did he say? That left his wife on the table and came up behind my back. And what did he say? What was he talking about? When we're at Nukes. That I was like, oh, this hair is going to cost a lot of. That white guy. You don't remember? Just Wednesday.
Oh, the guy that complimented you?
What was he talking about? What was it called?
Hair looked.
Yeah, hair. So, yeah, was there. Left his wife, and the wife gave me a look. I was like, huh? That's, yeah. We're minding our own darn business. Having lunch, right? And this guy was sitting with his wife, and he got up and came right behind my head. I was not even, and he just whispered, "Oh, your hair is was it?" But absolutely beautiful. I didn't even remember. Yeah. And I looked for him like, "Thank you." And I looked again. I was like, "Oh, I'll be damned." His wife is sitting. Yeah, exactly. Even this was like, oh, okay. I'm like, this hair is not going to cause divorce in people's houses. Like, that was a new one. And then when the woman gave me side eye, if side eyes could kill, didn't do nothing. Minding my own darn business, eating my own salmon salad, and very close to my aunt. And I was like, see, if
if people didn't know any better, they'll think maybe I knew this guy from somewhere or something. I was like in the invasion of privacy much, but hello, even proud is like, but she the side eye she gave me, I was like, auntie, will work well. If I wanted to, I could, but no. So that was my kid was like, what? I mean, they've heard that so many times, but that was just a very that was a new that was like, and then he was sitting just behind him, like, yo, how you now start to feel so awkward. But anyway, okay. If your partner is cheating and you have screenshot text message, can you apply for that? If it's cost you mental anguish, it's cost you to feel depressed, it's cost you a lot of turmoil, and they won't change, and they know about it and they know how it's affecting you, that's something you can potentially use as basis for abuse. But keeping in mind that abuse is just one of the grounds you have to prove, then you have other requirements to prove as well. I'm a green card, I'm a permanent resident. My wife has a TN. Should I apply for her now or wait until citizen? If you can wait, just wait, because as a green card holder, it's going to be much longer to have the I-130 approved than if you become when you become a citizen. Okay. I was registered from the court. Okay, then if that's the case and everything else you submitted to USCIS hasn't worked, then yes, you can go ahead and file a divorce here in the United States in the family court or whatever court that has jurisdiction in your state. If your ex-spouse is also here, then that'll be a lot easier. If they're not here, then there shouldn't be any reason for them not to agree to sign a waiver of service, since you're supposed to be divorced anyway. Okay. Okay. That was it too close for comfort company. Yeah, it was. Tell me about it. We're going like, can't do we mama lo beg to me by. I know I caused my own amount of trouble, but it's like, I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, I've never been. Usually a lot of women, and that's okay. I'm an equal opportunity dater. So, because I was engaged to a Caucasian for 3 years. She 3 years now. 2 years. I don't know. Coded Tanny, I'm good. How about you? Okay, let's see. You have even got to use that to run the clean screen. Thank you, that's actually. But then again, you're already biased because you're my younger sister, so not blood sister, but adopted. I've already unofficially adopted her. So, do you have any office in Chicago? No, but we can represent you in immigration cases. It doesn't matter what state you live in. I've been following you. I didn't know we're from the same area. Okay, what area would that be? Your red lipstick I'm crushing. Oh, if you like this lipstick, I just found, if you're a red lipstick girl like me, please, you've got to go on look of Lip and Pour. Lip and Pour. So LIPN pour, POUR. I was just minding my own business, and then scrolling on on my personal Instagram page it was. And I had to show you all these ads. I'm sure you've seen my ad too. And I saw this red, and I was like, that's calling my name. And because I used to use Milani Devotion, Seductive Devotion. And I saw this red, I was like, I'll be damned. So I bought it. So if you like it, that's it. I actually have to tone it down because it looks like Americans are called professor. If let me put it this way, the true, because I had to tone it, I had to mix with something lighter because I was going to court today. But if you use it by itself, is a kind of red where you would get a second date. Let me just put it that way, if you know what I mean. So leap and pour. They're gonna be. I'm gonna be their new customer because she doesn't. Yeah. Thank you, girls. Are you princess? See, open up, subscribe to searching. You guys are. This is something. I gotta. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Can I still follow T visa? I don't do T visa, so I can't even answer the question. I don't want to stare you wrong at all. There's no way you're here and you won't leave happy. Thank you. I remember Sister Line telling me, I'll be waiting to get the good news. You got to speak it before you see it. You know, if it will be great that every single thing we're waiting on comes out the way we hope. It doesn't, it's not, you know, that's just life. But the one thing that doesn't change is it doesn't change who God is. It doesn't change his faithfulness. It doesn't change that his word will not return to him void. It's just that it may change what the journey is going to be. It's not going to change the destination. So we just got to keep speaking it until it's, even before we see it, until we see it. Mobile grandma. Yeah, that's me. Ain't doing it. Not doing it. My key one from afar. I almost grandpa come back like I'm Moisha. It's how people argue blindly about things they have to do with that. I just don't want someone coming and staring people wrong. You can argue with yourself. See, if you're not paying me to argue, that's what I do for a living. But if you're arguing with you, it's not going to pay me. I'm not wasting my time. I'm not doing it. The only person that I argue quote unquote, that I don't get paid for is TJ. And he's hearing me, yes. Because I'm like, whose child is this? And then he goes, yours. I'm like, where did you get this man from? He goes, you. Yeah, see? But outside of that, if I'm arguing with you, it's not paying me, I'm not wasting my time. But if you're going to be giving information, please don't stare people wrong. People already have a lot of issues, especially with Nigerians, and I represent a lot of people across the African countries and from the Caribbean, but many more of divorce issues are affecting Nigerians. So I know that I've taken time. I never even paid attention to divorce decrees until this became almost like an epidemic for my own people. And so for me, if you're not going to cause additional misinformation on top of nothing you know about, and you can't get away with that because people are already dealing with that. Don't do that. You know, don't do that. That's the one thing I will set you very, very straight on. Don't get it twisted. Is joint file taxes a must to qualify for marriage-based citizenship? The way you say marriage-based citizenship, filing from citizenship based on you still being married to a citizen for 3 years and being a green card holder for 3 years. Joint filing when you file for citizenship speaks a lot about marital union. Because USCI is one thing that everybody knows. If you're going to commingle money with people, then you've got to love them to some extent. When your money is not being commingled, that is a red flag for USCIs, because then that means there's no unity when it comes to finances, and that is going to be something they're going to probe into. Keeping in mind that when you file for citizenship, what USCIS is doing now, a whole lot more now, is especially even on a 5-year basis, they're probing into your relation. If you got your green card through marriage, they're probing now into the marriage that got you that citizenship to make sure that you're legally admitted, and to also make sure that it was not a sham marriage even on a 5-year basis citizenship application. So if you're not using it on 3 years, the more reason why you want to make sure that you're filing taxes with your spouse jointly, unless you have an explanation not to. My mother is here. I feel like Abisola. If you file a vow petition in your second marriage, will you need your marriage certificate of your first marriage to show you married in a registry? Why would you need that? Why would you need to show you married in a registry? What USCIS is concerned about is that that first marriage was legally terminated. Okay. Is there a chance of immigration denial re-entry? Someone travels with advanced parole. There's always a chance, because even in your advanced parole documents, USCIS even covers themselves and says that the fact that this allows you to come in doesn't mean that you CBP still cannot deny you admission. It's on the document. For instance, whenever my clients are traveling, I want to know. I tell them to go over what they have with me, making sure you've got this document, you've got your advance parole, you've got copies of your receipt notices, and all that. So for me, I want to make sure that you are fine. Those are my clients. It's not like anything, but I just, that just makes me. And then when they're coming, I tell them, let me know. I'm on speed dial. Hopefully not, just to be on the safe side. So I cannot tell you whether or not, but generally it's the general information. Is there a possibility that they may do not admission? Absolutely. But everyone's case is specific to everyone's case is different. My vow application is almost 2 years in. My removal proceedings was dismissed in January. Cannot file for advanced parole and travel. So long as you're no longer in deportation proceedings and you've got an I-45 that you're pending, or you're going to file that you filed the vow case on the advanced parole on, then you should be fine. I'm not telling you to travel. I'm just telling you that you can't file that. I just want to say, Sim, thank you for coming out and sharing with us. You give me hope and explain a lot that my Lord don't take time to explain. I really appreciate your blessings. Thank you, Sim. That's my sister's name, Simisala. I call it Sim. Or Sam, I should say. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hello, Mr. Kelvin. Mr. Kelvin, yeah, can you send email? See you 7th, next week. Okay. My mother would tell me that I should try to be. Like she says, I'm just very, very. I'm straight shooter. Like I don't know how to. I don't. It's gonna be trouble a lot, but I rather That's why she's not being yet. On the way. Don't she listen? That's yet. Emphasis on yet. Thank you. But we'll get there. It will get there. You are very professional and honest. Experience that during my course of consultation. Thank you. I'm honest. That honest. Is it like very, very brash kind of way? I try. I mean, I don't know this officially. Okay. I keep getting it. Alrighty, let's see. My case was updated, fingerprints taken on, but I didn't get any. Though I had a case prior that was withdrawn after 2 years of wait. What should I expect after that update, please? It may just be that they're updating to show that they're not going to reschedule for another biometrics. They're going to reuse your prints. That usually is that when you have updated fingerprints, either you just got your fingerprints done and that updates it, or they're just looking at the records and they know they're going to send your notice that we're going to reuse your fingerprints. You gotta be kidding me. Iyabo says AI streams your post to me a few weeks while processing my immigrant visa, and now I'm here able to join you live. Happy to be in your audience. Y'all gonna get me so emotional tonight. Y'all, it's been one of those days. So y'all, but I'm humbled by that. Thank you, Yabo. I'm glad. Shaking one high on AI people need. Caucasian men, I beg, how is your credit score? Next, please. SPM merchandise account. Reduce the volume. Thank you. This lawyer is going to have the wife go home and do some research on her. Okay. My my son wasn't. You guys are like my son was like, he looked at me, I looked at him like, what in God's name? Is that I just because you know how you can sense someone is giving you some kind of side eye. And I mean, I will be looking to because if my husband and I are having lunch and then he just leaves and goes to give another woman compliment from, I mean, I will be like, oh Benny, but minding my own darn business. I've applied for work permit 2 times without advance work. Can I apply with it now because my work permit is expired? If you qualify, yes, Ms. Vicky. Finance Shandy, I think she's probably a word. My VA is exactly 3 years. No request for more evidence, and I've gotten followed 4 prima facies. Is taking too long. Should I be worried? No, because even though it's 3 years, but they're averaging about 38 months. So if you're 3 years, and then probably coming up for a decision, and hopefully an approval, God willing. Oh, Mr. Beta, can someone on? Oh, I'm just seeing that. Can someone on YouTube tell me? Mr. Bennett was just saying that the video, if you're on YouTube, can you tell me if the video is still blurry? Oh, wow. That's probably going to be the same on Facebook too. Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay. What God can I do doesn't make sense? Yes, ma'am. Oh, TJ is my child. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, TJ is my child. And there's no denying that. You know, when God gives you, I'm just glad he didn't come as a girl. That would have been. Let's just leave that. TJ is my child. I have an application in, but I'm worried with the news about divorce. I had a traditional marriage and I got divorced from a customary court in local government in Lagos. Should I be worried? Generally, you should not be. It should be fine. I'm not saying the general information, you should be fine. It said deliver my package to your office. If it was delivered, Mr. Magic, then I'm sure that we would go through. Do you know how much mail we get each day? So if it was delivered, we will get to it and we'll let you know. Okay. And Mr. Magic, next time you can just say hello. First of all, like hello, not just the sad one, but something about or good evening, something. Oh, he now finally said it after he called you out. Is it advisable to divorce after 15 months of green card and marry ex-spouse in home country? She's pregnant. Okay, is it advisable to divorce after 15 months marry? Okay. Good evening from Los Angeles. What does it mean when USCIS sends one notice while the attorney address was used as a safe address? It's about what does it mean when USCIS sends one notices while the attorney address was used because it's USCIS? I just had that happen in one of my cases where an EAD renewal that I'm not sure why, because obviously even on the G20 it says mailing address is my office address. Whatever reason they decided to send a copy of that to my client, and luckily for her, she was the abusive spouse wasn't there, so because it's USCIS, someone wasn't paying attention. And so what I did was to email them, let them know, hey, y'all going to cause a lot of trouble for people because the whole point of confidentiality is to keep it confidential. That's your story you're sticking to, Mr. Magic. Okay. No, don't Bukolami. I said you should be fine. General information. So remember me, Bukola, New Jersey. I have God knows there were too many Bukola I've seen. So I may know you, but I don't know without your last name or something. I'm not telling you to be your last name, but general information. My spouse and I are currently living in different states. Really affects citizenship application. As long as you've got proof of marital union and you've got reasonable explanation why you're living in different states, then that's probably what you want to look. Oh, okay. I never heard from you. You bugged me God knows how long. Sent you what you know I sent you. I never heard back from you. But hopefully, and I think I probably would have that in that record if that's the case. And I may look at it just to look at it, but you just poof, you're gone. Hope things are working out for you. Um, it's been 28 months of waiting. I really appreciate your swag with your live sessions. You're welcome. How to be prepared for the marriage interview? Sit down with a lawyer and pay a lawyer to help you out. If you've got a lawyer in your case, pay them to sit down with you and prepare you for your interview. So please do it, get it right the first time. That helps you, even if it's just to. I always say, especially if you've got a clean cut case, first marriage, no previous denials, yada yada yada. Okay, I still will say go with a lawyer, even if the lawyer is just there. It gives you some kind of peace of mind. Number one. Number two, it actually sends it's a signal warning to the USCIS office. They ain't gonna ask you crazy stuff, when they know your lawyer is there. So that's just that's my 2 cents. But anyway, okay, people. I think we got to a lot of people's questions tonight. I'm glad. Oh, okay. Y'all on my name is. Can you please connect me to an immigration lawyer that can handle divorce in Florida? I can't. I don't know. I can connect you to an immigration lawyer. But as far as if they can handle divorce, I only know if the divorce is in the state that I'm in. 10 years got approved. Oga in the Oga. Congratulations, Oga. That is kind of news we want to hear. Congratulations. I pray it's the beginning of many, many blessings for you. How does annulment affect VAL? As long as the annulment came after the VAL case was filed, and there isn't anything else, it's very case specific. But if it's just a case where, as long as there wasn't any kind of fraudulent reasons why the annulment was granted, then it came after the VAL case was filed, then potentially may not have any a negative impact. I never want to have an annulment. You want to strive for a divorce, because annulment, the effect of annulment is that your marriage was never valid, and that may potentially mean that you didn't have a qualifying relationship. So sit down with a lawyer. It's going to be the best thing you can do. All right. Oh, that is awesome to hear. The removal case was finally reopened and dismissed. Oh my goodness. I'm sure that is, wow. That is amazing. That that is, because I know that weighed you down a lot. I know that weighed you down a lot. Oh wow, that I don't, I don't even know what to say. That is amazing. Congratulations. I pray that the rest of the journey, Bukola is going to be, God that has started that good work in you is going to complete it. That is good. So that is good. That is just a blessing, because I've been there with you. But anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you each and every time for joining. Quite a number of good news tonight, and that's what we want to hear. That's the whole point. That's the focus of this platform, to continue to come together and rejoice in one another, and being able to encourage one another, even when things don't go as we plan. just know that God doesn't. There's no record of failure with God, and I'm just a firm believer that we haven't come thus far not to succeed. We haven't come thus far for us not to succeed. It's just not. We just have to. Hella epic moments, and so the only thing that would prevent you from doing that is if you give up. As long as you stay the course and you just keep knowing that there's a higher power greater than you. It's not any strength or knowledge that we have or power that we think we have that we can do it on our own. It is because we know that there is a higher power. Meaning, in my case, there is God who has created me and has spoken me into existence. And because He has brought me here, then there's that purpose for which He has brought me here must and shall be fulfilled. And I pray the same for each and every one of us. And even as we always come together Tuesdays, Thursdays, and celebrate one another, we believe and trust God that we'll continue to have reasons to celebrate with everybody. And all our stories shall end in praise. We will continue to have that. We'll continue to have that and have every reason to just give all the glory back to our Maker. I'll see you guys in